So glad I checked the friggin' map then, mate. Had to walk right past that. Wow. Look at that. How cool is that? Well, grid reference is making a good bearing, mate. Straight to it without no problems at all. As you can see, all that's left really is these molten aluminium, I'm guessing. Eggs. You twat. Sorry, that idiot in that car then overtook. There's a car was opposite me and I'm walking the fucking road. You knob end. Sorry. I do get mad. Things like that happen. If I see his car in the car park later, I might have a bit of trouble going home. How you doing, guys? Today's walk is going to be up over Derwent Edge, and then we're going to go and try and find the wreck of the vampire over on Strines Moor. So just currently parked up in the Strines car park. Luckily this is a bit far out, so a lot of people don't tend to park. I just drove through Lady Bower, it was crazy. So we're going up across the Derwent Edges, see some really cool rock formations and I like up there. And then we'll drop down and back along through Moscar, I think it's called. There's a wreck of a vampire. I don't think there's much there. Hopefully I've plotted it correctly this time after last time we were out. I wasn't out last weekend because of my foot, but it seems to be easing up now. So yeah, that's where we're headed today. About 9.5 miles, 1,000 foot of ascent. Weather's looking good, so we might get some good views and good shots from up there. So I'm going to go and get my gear on and I'll catch up with you when we're out on the walk. Right, hi everybody. So today's walk is a walk along Derwent Edge and then dropping down to Strines Moor and visiting the vampire jet wreck there from the 1950s. So let's take you through the walk. So we start off on the A57 at the car park on the A57 Snake Pass Road, just past Lady Bower Inn or just before, depending which way you're coming on the A57. So normally you can get in there quite easily. So from the car park, you walk up the road slightly past the bus stop to Cutthroat Bridge. That's an interesting story about that. Check the video out. From there, you then work your way along the edge here until you get up to Whinstone Lee Tor. Some cracking views there, all the way from the edges of Stanage Edge, Bamford Edge. You go around to Win Hill, the Hope Valley, Edale, the Great Ridge, Kinder Scout, Lady Bower Reservoir. You name it, you've got a fantastic viewpoint up there. So ideal if you're into your photography. From there, then carrying up to the Hurkling Stones, then along to the Whinstones. You then come along to White Tor, followed by the Salt Cellar, which is a really well-known sort of landmark. Well worth stopping there and taking in the sights. Not visible from the path, so just drop down off the path a bit and you'll see the Salt Cellar itself. You then carry on to Dovestone Tor and the Cakes of Bread, over to the right there. Then you get to Bradfield Gate Head. There's where the path goes to the right. We'll be coming back to that later. There's also a big gate post, so it's obviously why it's called that. You then go along to the trig point at Back Tor. We then drop down to Lost Lad. Again, another fantastic viewpoint to the north, like Bleaklow, Howden Moor, etc., etc. And a really good story there and a good viewpoint and one of those topograph things that shows you all the different places that you can see. So then you carry on back up to Back Tor and Bradfield Gatehead, and we take a left then. So we drop down off a moor all the way right down to the road, which is, I think it's called the Moscar Road. So once you drop down to there, we meet there at the bend. We start to follow that road then up and past the pub. So it's quite a bit of road walking here, but it's really the only way to get to the wreck. After a while, you come to a lay-by on your left. Only a small one. Opposite there's a gate into the open access land, which is what the Strines Moor is. And then you take a bearing of 245 degrees, follow that up to a large boulder, and just past that, literally probably 150 foot, something like that, you come to the wreckage site. Okay, from there then drop back down the way you came onto the road, and then we follow the road again for another mile or two until we get to these sort of crossroads here. So there's a crossroads. At the crossroads you take a right, start to drop down the moor, pass through Moscar Farm, drop back down to Cutthroat Bridge, and then cross back over the road and then back to the car. So quite a good walk, that 9.5 miles, just under 1,000 foot of ascent. No real steep climbs or descents, and that is fairly easy going. Probably not ideal for pushchairs, but if you can, got some reasonable walking ability, that shouldn't be too bad a walk. You could cut it shorter if you wanted. So if you didn't really fancy that road walk, you could drop down to the reservoirs. But not a bad afternoon's walk that. So highly recommended. If we just take a look at the plan view now, you can see there quite a nice circular route that, and quite pleasant if the weather's nice. So that's the walk that we're going on today. We'll get on now onto the video, and yeah, I'll see you there. Just crossed the perilous Snake Pass Road, but yeah, so nice pub down there, and we're headed off up over there, up to the start of Derwent Edge. The chaos is Snake Pass Road. There we are, Derwent Reservoir. That's Kinder Scout in the background. Fairbrook Naze over there, I think. Lewes Hill, Hackside, where we were last week, looking for the older wrecks of the Bolton Defiant and the Boston Meteor. There's Win Hill, coming around to the edges, Chatham Moor in the distance, and then Kerbar, Froggatt and Bamford and all those over there. Stunning 360. I'll see if I can get one with the camera and point at all that. We're heading up there along Derwent Edge over to Lost Lad. Here, I think there's something like the Hurkling Stones or something like that. Can't be 100%. As I get to these rock formations, I'll let you know which ones they are and stuff. But yeah, nice steady paths, quite well reinforced with rock and stuff, so yeah, not too bad at all actually. Don't need your gaiters today. So we're heading up here to those rocks, and then heading along all the way along there to Lost Lad. I'll tell you the story of Lost Lad when we get there. So, yeah, plane up there. Let's see if I can get a picture of that. Yeah, so these here, they are the Hurkling Stones. I'll find out if there's any history to that. Yeah, stunning view of the Great Ridge there. We headed up here. Look at these big slabs of rock here. Amazing, isn't it? That have been weathered and worn by erosion basically. Which, when you feel these winds, yeah, you totally get it. Cool location now. I've got a little hole in it. I'll put some pictures up of that. But helicopters over there again. Try and get a picture of that. So this is the Whinstones. Just look at that, mate. That is fantastic, isn't it? And we've just come through along the path down there. So yeah, beautiful. Again, stunning panoramic views. I'm going to try and get a shot of that helicopter. How cool. These rocks, all sort of formed by erosion basically. Fantastic. Look at that. It'd be a good place for a wild camp, wouldn't it? Got the graffiti in here. You sometimes find really old graffiti. But yeah, that's a nice little nestled spot there, isn't it? Cool rocks. Have a wander around these and then head off, and then I think at the next lot of rocks we'll go. I brought tomato soup with me today. Yeah, so cool, man. Amazing how they're formed, isn't it? I'll get some photos now. I'll catch up with you in a bit. As I always keep saying, up behind you, look at that stunning view there over towards those Whinstones. You can see Lady Bower Bridge there, just going across the road. Beautiful. We're heading up here now. Pork pie time, and a cup of tomato soup, and I'll probably do the same. I'll probably have half now and half of it later on, just to keep me quite cool when you're stopping and starting like this. So yeah, see you shortly. Oh, don't want to do that on this edge. Look at that for a spot. Absolutely fucking stunning. Sorry, I swore there, but it is. It's beautiful. Looking out towards Lady Bower Bridge. Look at all that. I'm gonna get a bit of shelter. Look at the size of those big rocks there, man. Whoa. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And you know what? No one up here apart from me at the minute. So I'm going to get a few more pictures up here because this is just absolutely amazing. And then right behind these rocks, soup and pork pie time. See you soon. These are the salt cellars. I saw a path over there somewhere. I'll look over here. Right next to. See a bit of a path here through the heather. Obviously being careful with ground nesting birds. This says salt cellars shoulder on the map. So let's have a quick look, because they aren't always visible from that side of the path. Ah, here we are. I'm so glad I checked the frigging map then, mate. I'd have walked right past that. Wow. Look at that. How cool is that? I'll get a couple of pictures of that and then head off back over there. Yeah, so I'm glad we got that, the salt cellar. Just put a few shots up of that. We've come from over there. See some cracking views over towards, this is Bleak Low here. So you've got Bleak Low across there, and then I think that's Howden Moor over there. We're kind of, I think, Lost Lads there, just in the distance, and that's where we dropped down then to Moscow. Bit of road walking then for a lot of it. Don't go that way, mate. It's a bit muddy, wasn't it? Sit to the path, like I just said earlier. So yeah, hopefully find this Viper wreck. I've got the grid reference. It's on the map correctly. I've got the book, screenshot or camera shot of the book, so to give me more directions, plus a compass bearing from a gate, and also a landmark that's not far from it. So it might take a little bit of searching, but I'm hoping that it's done it properly this time, and that Outdooractive won't play up. So lesson learned there. Always recheck your route a couple of times. A bit of a dry stone wall there, that's cool. Right, catch up with you in a bit. Beautiful. That's all you can say. We're heading up over there. I think that's the cakes of bread over there. Just double check. Yeah, just gone past Dovestones. That's the cakes of bread. And then we're going to Bradfield Gatehead up there. Then we're going to go to Trig Point, which I think you can just see. Then over to Lost Lad, and then we'll come back up and down to Moscow. So yeah, really doing really well with the weather, and well, the views just absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. We're just going to get a photo over here of these cakes of bread, as they're known, which they do look a bit like loaves, don't they? Here we are, Bradfield Gatehead. What we're going to do, we're going up to the Trig Point, over to Lost Lad, and then back and down there towards Moscow, and then search for this wreck. But yeah, stunning scenery, absolutely. Looking back over there towards the bread cakes, and I think that's the Whinstones in the background. It's got a bit quieter now. Assuming this was what the old gate was. There's the old gate post there. Fascinating, absolutely brilliant. So we're heading up here now, get some views from the Trig Point. I'll get a bit of info on that when we get there, height and all that crap. Yeah, I'll take a picture here because that gate post is quite a good feature with that path. So we'll catch up with you shortly. Cool. We're heading up this Trig Point. There's a couple of grouse fighting or mating. They look like two males to me, so I suspect they were fighting, unless they were gay. So yeah, hopefully I caught that on camera. It's quite hard because they were all over the place. But yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, this is back tour now. So that's the Trig Point. See if we can climb up to that, get some views from up there, and then down to Lost Lad, and then we come back. I think we're going to be climbing that anytime soon. We'll see if we can head down here. Oh, is that a bit? Oh, there's a path there. You can see Lost Lad, the cairn over there, so we'll walk down there, come back, and then start to drop off the hill. Beautiful. One of the stones has disappeared there, so it looks like we've got a bit of a balancing act here. There you are, Lost Lad in the distance. So a bit of a climb up to it and then head back up over there to what's it called now? Back Tor, I think it's called. So here we are, Lost Lad. Now, just a bit story of this place is, shepherd boy came up here in the snow many years ago. I'll find out the exact details, and he basically got lost trying to locate the sheep, ended up staying here, and they found his body a day or two later, and he'd written "lost a lad" either in the snow or on the rocks, and that's the story behind that, hence why it's called a lost lad. So a bit of a sad story there, a bit poignant, but just shows you how dangerous it is up here. You know, it looks nice today, you're up here in the snow, white out, mate. You know, very easy to get disorientated, potentially, you know, fall, injure yourself, hypothermia, all that good stuff. So yeah, it says here, this is a memorial here. So if you look, it's got all the different marks on it over there, Bleaklows over there, you know, Howden Moor. So that's a memorial of somebody who was a local rambler by the looks of it, who was quite active and helpful. But yeah, all the hills are on here. Mill Hill, that's over that way. Remember Mill Hill? I think it's just there. If you can see that, that's Mill Hill, where we had the Liberator wreck. You've got the Seal Stones and all of that, eastern edge of Kinder, Back Tor, Lady Bower. Yeah, cool. Dovestone Top behind us. Over there, Featherbed Moss. Yeah, House Hall Tor over that way. You can see some paths carrying on that way. So there's quite a lot of paths here, but we are going to head back up here, past the trig point, back to Bradgate Gate. I think that Bradfield Gate, that's what it was called. And then yeah, we're going to head off. So take a few pictures, and then we'll get on out of here. Sure, it's coming from that direction. That's where we came from. We're coming back down here, and this goes down to Moscow now, and then we follow the road, and then there's a certain grid reference. We turn off on a bearing just through a gate. Yeah, and then yeah, hopefully we'll find the wreck this time. Got my compass, got my map, got everything with me. I am determined. But yeah, so just a steady descent now, and then a bit of road walking really, and then towards the end back off the road. And I think we're going to go over this bridge, which I think I went over at the start, but I didn't realise what it was called. Cutthroat Bridge. There's a tower in the distance. I can't remember what that's called now. It's over from Strines Moor. I'll probably do some walks around there. It looks quite interesting, but we'll crack on a bit. On the Moscow Road now, I think. The pub here. Oh, small peacock. Two of them. Three of them. Hello. Cool. Ropey. bikes. If you saw the video earlier of my bike, that's all fired up and ready. There's a reservoir over, I think that's Strines reservoir. We're headed down now to a gate and then through some open access land just around that corner, I think. So let's see. Shot. So that's the tower and that's Sugworth Hall there. So like I say, I'll find out a bit more about the history of that. The tower looks like some sort of folly, but I don't know who lived at Sugworth Hall or still lives there. So I'll find out a bit more info on that. Nice little spot there overlooking the reservoir. But we're pretty much road walking for quite a while now. A couple of miles at least, I think. But we're going to cut off and find this wreck in this moorland somewhere. It's a bit further on, I think, up there. So we'll see how we get on. Reference is mate and a good bearing, mate, straight to it without no problems at all. As you can see, all that's left really is these molten aluminium, I'm guessing, and a few fragments, and you can see a bit of a crater here. I'll put up some information about it, but we found it, so I will go back for that Bolton Divine because you know, I've got the grid reference, so this is bang on. You follow it from the gate, 245-degree bearing, you hit this big rock and you just carry on probably 30 yards, something like that. But yeah, I'm going to take some pictures of this. You can see it's all scattered around, but it must have been a bit of a fireball to do that to the metal. I'll find out whether anyone lost their lives in it or anything like that, but I think the Viper was sort of 50s and 60s, but I could be wrong. But as usual, I'll find out more information. But we found it. Aha! Superb, superb. I'm really pleased with that. So now, just about a 2.5 mile trudge now, about an hour's worth of walking back along the road, over a bit of moorland, and then back down to the car where I'll do a bit of a wrap up. But yeah, really pleased. We found it. So I'm getting better. So I'll catch up with you. I'm going to take some pictures now, and I'll catch up with you probably at Cutthroat Bridge unless I see anything more interesting. Looks like the edges over there might make a few good shots. My feet aren't holding up too bad. I'm starting to feel it in my Achilles tendon on my left now. Yeah, old man I am, I tell you. But yeah, I'm glad I found that. Gives me a bit more confidence in my navigational skills. So I'll catch up with you shortly. It's gone. Just heard my first curlew of the year over on the moors here. Plenty of grouse, but oh, it's over there. It's flying over there. You might not be able to see it, but you can hear it. Curlew, first one of the year. That's a good sign that they're coming back. Spring is on the way. I love curlews, but I lived in Wild Boar Clough, there were loads of curlews, and also when I lived on Shetland there used to be a lot up there as well. Quite rare now because being ground nesting birds, you know, they're suffered by predation by all sorts of wonderful things, anything from the domestic cat to bloody cats, you know, like I just said, domestic cats, to foxes and stoats, mink, you name it, but even bloody otters for all I know. Lapwing over there, black and white, bird in the distance. So lapwing, you see loads of those when I was a lad in the fields, but you don't see them so much now. Again, another ground nesting bird, so it really is that time of year now. So even when I was hiking across there, very, very careful where I was putting my feet. I'll probably stop wandering across that sort of ground now. Here, grouse as well, we've got them all. Got them all, mate. Beautiful. I'll see if I can get that lapwing on the camera because it was down here. Drowned out by modern vehicles. But I love the call of the curlew. I think the lapwing came down in this field over to the left somewhere. So I shall see. I can see some small birds over there. Don't know what they are. Like a little flock of little blackbirds. Can't really make them out from here. But yeah, there's a lapwing. I'm going to get a picture of it. I managed to get a picture of that, so I'll see how that comes out. But it's clearly got a nest down there, although some bloody crows mooching around over there, the fuckers. They'll probably have its eggs. You twat. Sorry. That idiot in that car then overtook. There's a car was opposite me and I'm walking up the fucking road. You knobend. Sorry. I do get a bit mad when things like that happen. Hope I see his car in the car park later. You might have a bit of trouble going home. Anyway, we'll crack on now, but I'm glad I caught that lapwing. I think they're starlings over in that field. They're quite an underrated bird. If you ever get a good picture of a starling, the colours in the coat are just amazing. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. I've got about an hour and a half till sunset. I've got about an hour to get back to the car. I'll take some pictures. You see there, that reservoir, Strines reservoirs, a couple of them there by the looks of it. I'll take a picture of that and we'll crack on. Looks like the side of a crash there. Just saw a hare, but bloody thing did a runner. Did get a picture of a grouse on a rock down there. Loads of wildlife, birds, hares, you name it. So I've seen it this afternoon. Out that wing earlier, curlews. But yeah, got a cracking picture of a red grouse on a rock, so I'll put that up. Got to keep an eye out for that hare. I love hares. I've only ever eaten them once. But yeah, we're going to have a good shooting season up this year, judging by the amount of red grouse. So, yeah, I went off into that heather, probably lying low now, that's what they tend to do. So I'll catch up with you in a bit. We are the cross junction, crossroads. That goes to Sugworth Hall. We're going to go down here now. We'll drop back down onto the path, past a place called Moscow House, and then we're going to drop down onto the path we came up from the lay-by-where park. So we're not far there. Snake Pass Road's just there. So over this stile. So if you've got about 50 foot high, you're okay. Through that mud and then across there. So I'll catch up with you. I just saw some cool stones up there, like boundary markers or something. So took a picture, see if I can find out what they are off a map. Anyway, we're going to head down here now. That's quite cool there. Bit of a, I don't know what it is. It's like a bit of a rock with a bit of a hole underneath. Looked like a cave at first. But yeah. So, cars over there. We're walking down to Cutthroat Bridge. I find out why it's called Cutthroat Bridge. Always sounds really exciting, doesn't it? It'll turn out to be some bland reason for it, but you never know. Could be an interesting tale, but I'll find out, and again, stick that info up. So yeah, I'll do a wrap up now actually before we get back to the car and have my soup and my cornflake tart. So yeah, that's a good walk that, about just under 10 miles I think all told. Some absolutely stunning views, really, you know, up over Derwent Edge, looking over towards Kinder, Bleaklow, the Hope Valley, Edale. You had everything up there, and it was really good and clear today, so got some stunning views. So highly recommend the walk. Not too taxing either really, unless you want to go to the Viper Wreck. I'd probably recommend that when you get to Lost Lad you probably drop down to the reservoirs. That could be more interesting. It's quite a lot of road walking on that last bit, so a bit tedious, about 2 or 3 miles of it, but I was going specifically for the Viper Wreck, so you know that was the easiest way to do it. But yeah, cracking walk, about 1,000 foot of ascent. It's, you know, quite gentle ascent, so you know you could be fairly open to all abilities that walk, I would say. So you know, give that a shot sometime. As always, GPX route will be there, a link to the Outdooractive route, my Facebook page where you can download the GPX files. As always, you know, like and subscribe to the channel, be much appreciated, and I'll catch you on the next walk when I'll think about it next time. Unless anyone's got any ideas, drop a comment below, but if not, I'll have a think, maybe doing something a bit different, maybe try and find some more Bronze Age or Iron Age, or maybe even some industrial heritage. I don't know yet, but I'll have a think. Alright, so we'll catch you on the next time, and thanks for watching.